Hey everybody, Nick Licameli here. Today we got Stan back in the game, and what we're doing is we're talking about discs in our spine. We're talking about herniated discs, bulging discs, slip discs, and what it means anatomically, and then what that means practically in your daily life and in your training. So let's take a look at the anatomy first. So the spine is made up of vertebrae that sit one on top of the other, kind of like a stack of toilet paper, and then that hole that runs down the middle of the stack is kind of like where your spinal cord runs. Each level, you have your nerves that branch off. In your neck, they go down to your arms and your hands. In your lower back, they go down to your legs and your feet. So, in between each vertebrae, we have a disc. A disc is meant to kind of cushion the joints and allow for some movement. It's been compared to something like a jelly donut. It's harder on the outside, kind of soft and jelly-like on the inside, but it's much more resilient than a jelly donut, and I don't like that comparison. Because it makes it seem like it's fragile and it's ready to pop, right, with a little bit of pressure. And that's not what we want to think, because it's not like that. It's much more resilient than that. So the spinal cord runs down like that, and each of the vertebrae, they're ligaments that keep those vertebrae together, nice and stable, right? A lot of strong ligaments. And then on top of all that, we have a bunch of tiny muscles and big muscles that keep that spine nice and stable. So something like spinal instability, you may hear that diagnosis thrown around. It's really tough to say, right? We're not looking at each segment with x-ray vision and watching it move and what is stable, what is unstable, right? We don't really know that. I think unstable spine, it refers not to like the vertebrae moving on each other, because if the vertebrae moved on each other, if the ligaments and the muscles and the support system didn't work, we would like sever our spinal cord, right? We'd have some serious nerve injuries. So I think an unstable spine, what that actually means is just poor like lumbopelvic control. I hate the word core, but I guess poor core stability. I feel dirty saying that, but you kind of get what I mean. It's not. I don't think it's so much the segments that people are referring to. I think they just mean they can't control the spine and put it into like a pelvic tilt or an anterior pelvic tilt or neutral and control that movement. I think that's what it actually means. Anyway, so what a bulging disc is, or a slip disc, or a herniated disc, all the same thing, right? It's just when some of that disc kind of pops out a little bit and protrudes into the space. And that could be harmless, right? You could not feel anything. They've done studies where they do MRIs on asymptomatic people's backs, and they have herniated discs up and down the spine. Seems to be quite normal as we age, right? We're not supposed to be perfectly symmetrical or perfectly aligned, right? So some discs popping out here and there is not a problem. So that's an issue with MRIs. If someone has low back pain that they develop when maybe they're in their 50s, they get an MRI and they see that they have two herniated discs, and then all their focus may go on to those discs, when those discs could have been herniated since they were 18, right? So very rarely is pain related to a specific structure like a disc, right? It's very rarely 1 + 1 = 2, right? A herniated disc at L4 equals XYZ symptoms. In a perfect world, it would be like that. If we went in there and surgically severed a certain level of the spine, we would definitely see it correlate to the symptoms that the person is going to have, right? Spinal cord is kind of like a circuit breaker box in your house, right? So it's the control system. Each level controls a different part of the body, whether it's sensory or motor control. So if you switch the switch on a certain part of your circuit breaker box, your kitchen lights may go out, or your bathroom lights may go out, or your living room lights may go out, right? So if you blow a breaker, you come down here and you see which one is off, you flip it back on, and the lights come back on, right? The power is restored. Similar thing to the spinal cord. So if we were to go in there and surgically take out a certain level, yes, we would see that correlate to the symptoms, but very rarely is our moving dynamic body that simple, right? So I guess the point of this video is that, yes, these discs, they can kind of pop out and some of that jelly can squirt out and touch nerves and do different things, but it doesn't mean that has to give pain. It doesn't mean that you're going to be have to have surgery or weeks and weeks of physical therapy. Your body is much more resilient than that, right? We're meant to be a little bit off, so to speak, right? There's some imperfections that are okay. And pain is multifactorial, has to do with so many more things than just your physical makeup. So keep in mind that if you do have back pain, and you get an MRI and you find some discs that are popping out here and there, don't make it like a cancer diagnosis, right? It's not like you got these discs and you're going to be dealing with them for the rest of your life. Pain, like I said, is multifactorial, and most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, these things can be managed with some graded exercise and some progressive loading of the body and getting you back to the activities that you want to do. Keep in mind, sometimes it is very serious, right? Sometimes that there's a disc that's just popped out, or there's some arthritis in there and it's irritating some nerves, and there's ripping radiculopathy down the leg, numbness, tingling, right? Pain, burning pain. Those situations, yeah, you may want to go see a qualified healthcare practitioner and get it checked out, because those things are red flags. Any loss of bowel and bladder control, those types of things, you want to get checked out, right? That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the person who just developed some low back pain, and they may have a disc or two that's popped out or slipped or bulging or herniated. Don't freak out. It's okay. You're not broken. Again, reach out to a qualified healthcare practitioner who can kind of guide you through some graded exercise and get you back to functioning or training how you like to. So I hope this helped. Hope it wasn't too much of just an unorganized rant. I want to thank Stanley Bones for making an appearance again. He's back, baby, and he's ready to go. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want, and we'll see you next time.